And I have here Lane with me, and I want Lane to share with you guys about CRI for the Nations, his awesome ministry to the country of Kenya and Burundi. I'll let him take it. Go for it. Thanks, Lane.
Well, thanks for the opportunity. It's a blessing. I've been a missionary for over 40 years, sent out by Mike McIntosh back in the 80s, and I just was overwhelmed by the need that's out around the world. So for the last 35 years, I've been going and doing pastors' conferences and I lived in Mexico, I lived in Grenada in the West Indies for several years. And the last 20 years, the Lord has instilled in my heart to do more than just go over and preach, go over and teach, which is still a major part of my ministry. But now we're coming through and we're doing schools of ministries, we're resourcing them. And as the graduates leave our schools, we help them to plant churches in very difficult areas where there is no water, there is no food, there is no industry, there's no jobs, there's nothing but people living in the desert or in the jungles. So the Lord instilled in my heart to start doing crisis relief, and we do food distributions in the church plant areas, and we take care of pastors monthly. It only costs like $75 to $100 a month to completely support a pastor. We buy them motorcycles so they can get out farther into the bush and farther into the deserts. The church planting is our thrust, though, is raising up leaders so that the indigenous pastors can teach the indigenous people in their own languages. There's probably 15 different languages in the areas that we go. Impossible for me, in my culture and in my language, to be able to reach them. But these young men are passionate about the gospel. And they're out there, thousands upon thousands of people, never reached with the gospel before, coming to Jesus. And they say, well, you can have a church, I say, you can have a church under a tree, right? And they say, yes, we do. We have a church under the tree, but we want a church like the rest of the world. We want to be a part of the world church. And to them, in their minds, it means a metal building. And so we built them a metal building. And it's a place that is a community center now in all of these different communities. We now have about 25, 28 building structure churches. We build wells for these people, and we give them food, Bibles, and a salary. Just this last 6 months or so, we've been planning and working and saving for missions trips. So we're inviting pastors to come along. If they have an interest in planting a church or helping us to plant churches or to preach in our schools, teach in our schools, we are willing to pay for one pastor, up to 4 pastors per trip, and I want to do 3 trips next year. So if you're interested in planting churches where the name of Jesus is not known, then come with me. And then when we get home, we can speak and see how we want to partner together. The other program that I have going right now is a missions mobilizer. CRI, Calvary Relief International, will pay for one person in a church to join together his friends and neighbors, and he would be our liaison from their church to us. And we will communicate, and he will help us to build up a team, and they will go also into Kenya with us as well. So those are the 2 programs that we're working on now to get more interested pastors and fellowships that will year after year after year continue to support and to help and to go to do some teaching out there. Up to this point, we're out there quite a ways, so it's very hard to get people to go out there. It is a hard ministry. I'll be honest with you. I usually come back about 10 pounds lighter, which is not a bad thing all the time. But I appreciate the opportunity to do this. We have our booth over here, and my partner over there, Jeff, he spent 2 months over there with me last year. He and his wife and my wife. And we try to do a long one every year and then several short ones.
If any of you guys are thinking about getting involved with CRI, CRI for the Nations, cool little analogy, CRI, right? You can get on their website, you can get them on social media, and all the information here. You guys get involved. You guys, Africa is one of the biggest continents in the world and one of the most unreached. Still so many people unreached. So tune in. We're gonna a lot more people here that we're gonna be talking to different things. But thank you so much. I appreciate it, Lynn, for you and your ministry. The Lord bless you guys. Stay